As you all know, having the attention problems that I have, I can't read very long books. I just finished this book, Simple Passion by Annie Arnaud. So slim that just the library binding kind of makes it like rounded on the spine. So much of it is this pink, but on the front it's this nice red picture. You see this is an author that won the Nobel Prize. So there's a certain amount of authority that comes from outside the writing, but there's also a lot of authority that comes from inside it. Now, this is a book where, when you read it, looking back at the epigraph makes a lot of sense, actually. Like, the way that the author explains a loss of innocence, how finally being done with innocence will happen as a result of this book no longer being kind of a sheaf of pages to write on and being a book. That makes a lot of sense. The main thing I want to show you all from this book, which is this this construction that I think we should all kind of start using. Thoughts that are easily attributable, you just sort of like shove them into the paragraph this way, in a way where the thought has the opportunity to like really interrupt the flow of things and be immediate and kind of take over the paragraph. Here you have, immediately, I'm not sure that I would stop. She's referring to like, the possibility of having an accident well, you can read this page if you pause it, but it's like the possibility of like causing harm to yourself while making fast progress towards some assignation. One of my favorite things with autofiction is how the authors like edit. It's such a feat of editing because your life is so much data. It's more data than you could ever make up, of course. And editing even an amount of data you've made up is tough. So going, to like make a nice small book out of such a large, like thousands of pages, tens of thousands of pages vast, experience is really staggering to me. Like, but it must be easy because people do it. It must be possible because people do it. So really there is like, it's almost like a proof that like, memory selects a kind of literature. I was gonna just talk more about that construction where it's like the colon and then the thought, but then I saw this and it kind of haunted me. His radiant expression and his silence when he looked at me saying, I drove like a madman to get here, telling me about his childhood. It's just kind of, stuff where like people, I feel like your childhood being driving like a madman to get here is suggested by this phrase, and I think that's compelling. The themes in this book are woven in really subtly, like film stuff, song stuff. This is kind of an example of what I'm talking about. One night the thought of getting myself screened for AIDS occurred to me. At least he would have left me that. Like just the way these thoughts kind of, they take it over. I love this. Like, feel free to use this construction. Just write the sentence you were going to write, and then just jump straight to like the thought that makes it, that's why you were talking about it, or like the thought that makes that a challenge or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, just do this colon thought thing. Of course, read Simple Passion to understand the context of what I'm talking about, but it's just a cool thing to try. The next page is a better example. I had to buy a shawl because of the bitter cold. He will never see it. You could also punctuate this without the quotation marks and without the colon. Like, you could just do 2 periods. But just something else, and I think something very cool and musical is done by structuring the sentence this way. The relationship of the thought at the end of the sentence to the sentence preceding it is like the relationship of a caption to a picture or something in a newspaper sort of, context. A colleague with whom I was having coffee once told me that he'd had an extremely physical relationship with a married woman older than himself. On leaving her place, I would brace myself and sniff the evening air, swept by a glorious feeling of masculinity. Yeah, it's similar. It's not as good an example as what I was talking about with that shawl earlier, where that was really just like that leap to the thought is so exciting. This is more clearly just like shorthand for saying on that subject, he said, basically, but something about the brevity of it is something we can take lessons from, I think. I think just the breezy way that she is able to like work in thoughts, and the way the author and the translator Tanya Leslie are able to work in thoughts is just people who are able to do that, no wonder they write great autobiographical works of fiction. So anyway, I hope you all have good reading today, and if you take a chance on this little book, Simple Passion, by this Nobel Prize winner, I hope you enjoy those moments I'm talking about, where you have those lovely leaps using a colon to a thought, and the thought can be something shocking or something that it can really give you a feeling of the quickness of someone's actual associations with something, and it gives this air of like internal reality to what is unfolding that I think is really it felt special. Of course, I've probably seen sentences like this before, but I just thought like it'd be a cool place to start when talking about simple passion. Would be this like these times when the passion of the thought kind of interrupts the sentence and you leap straight to it. And anyway, everybody, have good reading today. Have a good day.